All right, pull up the note. Pull up the notes I sent out this morning. I want to finish up the section on cabinet members, on cabinet positions, I should say. And I got an assignment here for you about 8:15, 8:20 here. All right, so this was the last slide from yesterday. So within the executive branch, right, when the president, this is a job that's multifaceted, and while you elect a person, the electoral college person, to ultimately do this job, they have to have people help out, right? People that tend to have kind of areas of expertise, right? And so the president's cabinet kind of serves as that kind of advisory, kind of their delegated authority to handle kind of specific matters pertaining to the executive branch. Like I said, with the county vice president for Washington, there was essentially 5 kind of members of his cabinet. Today, cabinet positions are 15 in all. Right, so there's a section where I'm gonna have you guys match up the kind of departments with what their jobs that they kind of do, kind of areas that they kind of, But again, it's open notes, so you can handle that. But we had talked about things like usually you have secretaries are the heads of each of these departments. Like the Department of State, which deals with foreign affairs, you have the Secretary of State. That's a big position there. That's actually in the order of succession as established by the 25th amendment. That comes, that's the first cabinet position. Let's say if the president pro tem, we got that far, was unable to perform the duties. The only kind of exception to the secretaries would be the Department of Justice. The head of that, what's the head of the Department of Justice? You think of justice, think of law. You think of law, think of lawyers. It's another name for a lawyer.
Judge.
Close. Starts with an A.
Attorney.
Attorney. And then in the military capacity, although not military capacity, who's the person like is the head of an army in that? Not a colonel, not a lieutenant. General, Attorney General is the only one that doesn't have a secretary. We're figuring out playing this kind of word kind of association thing. You did a good job there. We should probably get on a game show or something. I think we would work out well. All right, so this is the last one, Department of Commerce, which when you see commerce, it means business. All right, it's kind of promoting business in many cases, not just in the United States, but kind of like worldwide. But there's a lot of things that kind of fall under this, like the Census Bureau, which was a big thing when 2020 was the census year. Department of Commerce is kind of responsible for that. Patent and trademarks, which we talked about, the Congress has that patent and trademarks, but they're the ones who kind of enforce if, let's say, like copyright infringements. They're the ones who are kind of supposed to kind of like enforce if people are like kind of like pirating, like movies, DVDs, stuff like that. National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration and the National Weather Service are all big ones dealing with things like kind of like hurricanes and stuff like that. All right. So I want to finish this up, and like I said, I have a little kind of worksheet here. So another department, Department of Labor. This one was kind of created during the Great Depression. Department of Labor is responsible for promoting the well-being of wage earners. When you say so, commerce is usually business owners. Labor is those who kind of work within that. And so the Labor Department is supposed to make sure that kind of businesses and that are kind of adhering to certain standards. A big thing that's kind of within the realm of Labor Department is the Occupation Safety and Health Administration, which is often referred to as OSHA. All right. So if you like work in a place like a factory or whatever like that, the OSHA has regulations that you're supposed to have for safety precautions and that. So this is to kind of provide for safe working conditions. And if you have like my family had a moving company, and we would have a Labor Department come out because we had warehouses to make sure that we were adhering to certain kind of standards, and when necessary, we'd have to make adjustments because we're dealing with kind of federal, federal moving, like for the military and stuff like that. So the Department of Labor kind of deals with kind of those who work within industries. Commerce is dealing with actual those businesses themselves, and you need to try to promote that. Right. Department of Agriculture was established to regulate and execute laws related to farming, right? But also forestry, food, like FDA. You ever go to a grocery store, you see like something that's FDA approved. That means the Agricultural Department and the Food and Drug Administration within that is making sure that your food is safe to eat. All right. Big thing that's under this as well is what we call SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This is allows for people of low income to get food, to purchase food. This is the lifeline, particularly for people like during a pandemic and stuff like that. Right. So the Department of Agriculture kind of covers a number of things when it comes to like kind of regulating, like how the amount of kind of runoff and kind of like industrial farms as we know it as such. All right. But a big thing here is, like I said, if your your food, make sure that your food is kind of you look for a stamp on there, like on your meat, stuff like that. Make sure that it's FDA approved, which falls within the Department of Agriculture. All right. And then Department of Health and Human Services. This one was a later administration that was kind of added in the 60s. This is to kind of promote kind of health and well-being. Food and Drug Administration kind of also kind of deals with here with kind of pharmaceuticals. So Medicare and Medicaid fall under this department as well. This is the idea to kind of like and Department of Health and Human Services, I think initially was supposed to kind of roll out kind of like the whole like Affordable Care Act. They were the ones who were kind of trying to set up a website that was kind of problematic in the early part of the Obama administration. But this one, like with kind of the Department of Agriculture, kind of ties in with kind of regulating kind of like everything that you have, like it has to be listed on. Like if you look at like like a bottle of aspirin or any your all your kind of like ingredients, all the stuff that has to be kind of like placed in there. That's kind of associated with the Department of Agriculture as well as the Health and Human Services. So again, this one kind of Medicare and Medicaid take up a lot of the kind of the budget of this health department. And there's also talk about like trying to deal with like recently like kind of like pollution and stuff like that within this, like where people are living as close to kind of like areas that have kind of some kind of poor quality of air and water. Department of Health and Human Services in indicating a kind of maybe a need for change on that. Department of Education, which also was kind of like established in the 60s. This was the case to provide federal assistance to public education. Education is kind of funded from local and kind of federal dollars. You guys, if you guys a few years are getting ready to go to college, you'll probably be dealing with FAFSA and stuff like that. Federal student aid, loans, grants, Pell grants, or all this stuff that is kind of available through these federal dollars. This is a department though in like certain kind of wings of kind of a conservative world that they believe is unnecessary. And then there's other people who are more liberal think that it's not funded enough. So it's one of these kind of departments that at times, like during the Bush administration, that was the No Child Left Behind policy that got a little bit of some criticism, particularly came to kind of the emphasis on kind of standardized testing, right? And so each president kind of has their own kind of education agenda since probably like Reagan. So this is a department that obviously directly affects us as we're kind of sitting here today. Department of Veteran Affairs, which was established in the 70s under the Carter administration. Like it says there, it deals with those who served in the armed forces. You got to keep in mind, this is also kind of like this was created after the Vietnam War, and the kind of the questionable kind of treatment that certain Vietnam vets had, and kind of returning and trying to acclimate back home. Within this, you have like the big thing, the Veterans Health Administration, right, responsible for providing healthcare to the veterans. VA hospitals. There's a VA hospital over at like just off of 255. Jefferson Barracks. A friend of mine is a doctor, a psychologist at the VA hospital, and so he said that periodically they have kind of people like he had a couple of congressmen, one of the Missouri senators over there to kind of inspect some stuff. So this, like I said, is kind of a reaction to kind of what had happened after Vietnam. This gets a little criticism as well, particularly when it comes to VA hospitals. And that, but it is, so for some guys, that's their kind of like affordable health care they're looking for. And then the last department which was created after the 9/11 attacks, is the Department of Homeland Security. All right, this was a direct kind of result of the terrorist attacks in 2001. What falls under here is kind of like, and what's been in the news recently, kind of the Customs and Border Protection is an issue on the kind of southern border. Immigration Customs Enforcement, which is kind of controversial, abbreviated as ICE, but also FEMA is under here. I believe now they moved the Secret Service, the guys who kind of protect the president. There's a guy I went to high school with that actually is a Secret Service guy. He's protecting former President George W. Bush. They used to be under the Treasury Department. Now they are, I believe, they're under Homeland Security. All right, so this makes up the kind of the 15th one there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to exit this, and then let me go to here. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna send you guys this worksheet. What I have is a list of departments, the cabinet departments. I want you to type out who is the current secretary or attorney general. You got to look under Google Biden. Don't do it because we have a new administration. All right, and then give me one fact about them. Don't just say, oh, they were appointed this way. Give me one fact. Like, for example, the Attorney General. There's a kind of interesting fact about the Attorney General. Not even Merrick Garland. I just gave you the answer to it. He was supposed to be appointed to something in the last year of the Obama administration. That's an interesting fact to find out what that is. All right. So give me the names. Just do kind of Google search here. Shouldn't take you very long. And then make sure they're provided. So you who's the Secretary of State 2021 under Biden's Secretary of State if you want, and then you can submit it. I'm gonna finish up the chapter tomorrow, so we'll review on Friday and then test on Monday. Did you guys get this at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I sent out an assignment. Just